Your Excellency, you invited, I would say, the world, but in this case, development partners. You sent out invitation to financiers, potential investors. They've heeded that call and are now here to seek ways to catalyze the big visions that you have, and of course, to help you drive them to completion. For starters, how does that make you feel?
Thank you very much for that question, and also thank you for this opportunity to showcase the array of opportunities, investment opportunities that Enugu State has. The reason we're able to attract the number of investors and indeed development partners and DFIs, development financial institutions, is largely because the projects we're talking about here are bankable. And as I said in my speech, Enugu is bankable. These are, as you said, ambitious projects, but they are also bankable. We've been able to curate them in such a way that they can be, it will be attractive to the financial institutions and the development partners.
Amazing. And sometimes you hear that if your visions are not scary to you, then they're probably not big enough. So this is huge. This is a milestone event indeed. Now, this event, this investment roundtable, is a prelude, if you like, to the bigger event slated for the second quarter of next year, I believe. How is this different, and what do you hope to achieve with the more robust summit come next year?
We have taken a bold view of what Enugu could achieve in the next 4 to 8 years under our watch. And we have expressed a humongous vision of growing our GDP from the current levels of $4.4 billion to $30 billion. That growth will not happen through public sector investment. The growth is going to happen through private sector driven investments. And what that means is that we must showcase our investment and our potentials as an investment hub, right? And so what we have just started to do is to, if you will, whet the appetite of the investing public, the investing community, that Enugu is indeed the next destination of investment. And so what we have done is to profile and to also prepare concept notes of the wide array of investment opportunities that Enugu has. And what we hope to achieve in the summit, Diaspora and Investment Summit, coming up first quarter of next year, would be transaction closures. So if you will, FID, final investment decisions. So we expect to be having handshakes, closing transactions. And what we've started to do is to, in our pipeline, we have an investment potential of about $2.1 billion. And we're expecting to have a closure of that figure by the first quarter of next year. So to close on these areas. So right now, what you're going to see in this roundtable is the financial institutions talking to us about how they think we can retweak the proposal we have on the table to make it bankable and to make it attractive. And we're going to be working with them to de-risk it, to take out the bottlenecks and to ensure that it's attractive to, for a closure by next year, first quarter.
Okay, this is indeed beautiful, Your Excellency. It was a brilliant keynote you just delivered. There are those, however, that are of the opinion that most of such events, unfortunately, end at the realms of being, if you like, a talk show. That's where it ends. Recommendations, insights, as you've mentioned, when they are shared, not much, happens in terms of the translation of those. In your opinion, it's a huge vision. How is this positioned to be different from that?
Thank you. First of all, we have to be deliberate. My background is business and entrepreneurship. So this is what I have done all my life, essentially. Investment, business, entrepreneurship, looking for opportunity, looking at how one can de-risk a business opportunity and get invested in it. So this for us is not a talk show. Everything we've done is deliberate and we're intentional about it. And which is why we had to start first by profiling this project. And if you listen to the words we're using, bankability. And what that means is, because of my background, I understand that businesses are not philanthropists. Right. They are not charity organizations. They are not Father Christmas. They are interested in returns on investment. So if you are presenting a project or if you're inviting people to come and be interested in the investment opportunities, you must make sure that, A, you have de-risked certain aspect of it. There are certain risk businesses are very reluctant to take. Right. For example, the business will not want to take a security risk. So you need to be sure that you have created a safe and secure environment for the businesses to thrive. And sometimes you also want to even go a step further to help direct certain technical aspects of the investment so that the investor will find it attractive. Once they look at it, all they need to do is to do a desktop validation. So the feasibility study and the critical things or information or data that you need for an investment decision to be made, it's already available to the investor. So all they need to do is to interrogate it, validate it, and then move on. And that's essentially what these programs are. They are not talk shops at all. They are serious business, and they are designed to prepare the project to bankability.
Great. You made a promise to lead Enugu from where it is to, I believe, to be the top 3 states, actually, in Nigeria. Yes, and in terms of GDP. You also have mentioned that you'd like to bring the poverty rate to 0%.
That's correct.
Security and peace, they are top on your agenda. Yeah. How do you hope to achieve this? Are we in line? Is this all part of it?
We are very much in line. We knew when we got sworn in that the biggest elephant in the room was security and that we needed to address that frontally. And we did set forth at dawn. We immediately, without hesitating, we convened a Security Council meeting and subsequently addressed the state where we made consequential pronouncements. As you know, we took the bull by, the horn and then essentially placed a ban on the illegal so-called Mondays sit at home. And of course, mobilized our security apparatus and ensured that measures were put in place to secure the lives and property of our citizens. And today, I can tell you that Enugu is arguably the safest and the most secure state to live in, to do business in, because we've never had a strike, since that pronouncement was made. And it's essentially because of the measures we've put in place to continue to guarantee the safety of lives and property of our people. And Amazing. Then, of course, you know that beyond security, there are also other issues of infrastructure. Right. And as you are aware, we made some strong pronouncement on the area of water, making sure we provide water. And we did say to our people that in 180 days from our swearing in, that Enugu water will flow in the homes of all our people living in the metropolis. And I can assure you that we're on track. We're right now producing over 24 million liters of water every day. And this is a volume we have not had in the last 20 years. and we're hoping to take that volume to 70 million by the end of next month. And before the deadline we gave to Enugu, water indeed will be flowing in all the homes in Enugu. So we're quite on track. So all the pronouncements we made, we indeed see it as a sacred promise. So we have a social contract with the people. We say, entrust us with your mandate, and we're going to do A, B, C, D. And we are keeping to that promise.
You are indeed a strategy and innovation expert. You see, as we come close to the end of this interview, there are a few more questions that are critical. Sometimes we say it's the little things that actually matter or that make a lot of meaning. By that, I mean, you promised that water will flow within 180 days. And for those who have been following activities of Enugu, some have even made memes out of it. You see, water is coming, water is flowing. So that's beautiful. On the one hand, for this event, at most events, Your Excellency, the event never kicks off when they say it will kick off. But for some reason, like clockwork, this happened at exactly 12:30, the national anthem came on. That, I just thought to put that out, that is beautiful in itself. But going to the other question, for those who are viewing, who are watching right now, and for those who have the opportunity of playing this over and over again, and for those who would want to say, okay, we're going to wait for you when this time comes, but especially for investors, potential investors. You're a private sector person, you're bringing it all to bear in the public sphere. Help some of those still struggling with making up their minds as to why Enugu. You've highlighted a few of them, but this one goes directly to them. Why Enugu? Why invest in Enugu at this time?
So there are several reasons you must come to Enugu as your number one destination for investment. First of all, we've talked about the issue of peace and security, which is number one on our priority. And we've tackled that frontally. And as I said, Enugu is today arguably the most peaceful and secure state to invest in. The other thing, with the other measures we've put in place, still in the area of security, as you may already have noticed, if you look around the state, we have the Distress Response Squad team. And that is also a team that is on, highest level of alert. So what we've done, we've done a whole lot of investment in that space, including deploying technology also. So what it is we cannot have any breach, any security breach in the state that we cannot identify, pursue the culprit, and also bring them to justice. Okay. Again, the other reason you must pick Enugu is that you're dealing with someone who understands your pain, who feels and knows what it means to invest. So in terms of making sure that there are targeted policies to make life easy for investors, we've also put them in place. We talk about e-governance. Just in my speech, I talked about from the time of application and issuance of your certificate of occupancy. I don't think there is any city, and I'm not talking about in Nigeria, I'm bold to say in the entire continent, I don't think there is any city where you can apply and get your certificate of occupancy within 72 hours. And Enugu boasts of that. So in Enugu here, so we understand what it means to have the ease of doing business. And so all the state action on business enabling reform, one that is championed by, we already actually have exceeded most of those benchmarks, okay? So in Enugu, you can access a number of services digitally. So we have digital platforms which you can, access services from. And then in terms of infrastructure, we're also deliberate. You heard me say that in the next 4 years, we'll be spending about 2 trillion naira just on infrastructure, making sure that we have roads, we unlock our rural economy so that people who want to play in the commercial farm space, they have access road to those commercial farmlands. So we do not have, so most of what constitutes distraction, or if you will, impediments to businesses, we're trying to get those bottlenecks out of the way so that businesses can flow. So we're creating the enabling environment. So even though we know this growth will come from private sector, we're also mindful that it has to be enabled by government. So it's going to be government enabled, but private sector driven growth.
And that's the PPP partnership we're talking about.
Correct.
Okay. You have there's the $2.1 billion projects pipeline, I believe, covering different areas. I mean, health, transportation, aviation, power, energy, you name it. For that youth, I mean, Enugu is a buzz. Even if you don't see, you hear. In other words, everyone knows that something is happening today. For the youth on the street wondering, how does this help me? Or in Niger parlance, who that one help? Speak to Ndi Enugu or the youth of Enugu, how this will either now or in the future be beneficial to them.
So I'm glad you raised this because, we, beyond just focusing on the growth of our economy, we're also mindful of eradicating poverty. And that would come from creating wealth and generating employment. And essentially, who are the targets? The target for us are the youth. And we have designed programs that will see us upskilling our youth, over 40,000 of them, equipping them with ICT skills every year. And for practical skills too, we also have designed programs that will see us churning 10,000 young people through that pipeline every year on the practical skill side. So, and it's important that the young people understand the connection when we talk about private sector. Because, government cannot create jobs. We have limitations. So, but we can create the environment where private sector can flourish, where our young people, and we're also doing a lot in the ICT space. We have a project that is part of the projects we've profiled, is a tier 4 hyperscale data center, AI data center. That is going to also another first in fact, the entire West Africa. We do not have any state in the country or indeed in West Africa with a tier 4 hyperscale data center. But we're doing one in Enugu. And again, the idea is for us to attract the hyperscalers, the AWS of this world, the Microsoft, the Netflix, the TikToks, and the rest of them. And then, of course, what does that do? Because we're going to ensure that we have, all these guys come here to cite their companies. And what the idea is for our young people who would be out there looking for or waiting to get employed to at least have where to, be constructively engaged. So there is a whole lot of these programs and the discussions we're having about bringing in private sector investors, they are all targeted at benefiting our young people, our teaming. And, we have a generation of skillful people in Enugu. I mean, our literacy rate in Enugu is over 90%. So, and these people, through our policy, we want to rubbish the Japa syndrome. We want to ensure that our people stay here and Japa their skills across the globe. So what they are going to be moving around the globe will be their digital skills. Today, because the world is moving rapidly in a supersonic pace, we also realize that we need to ensure that our young people are prepared for the emerging future. So we understand that the skill set that they need to thrive in this emerging future, it's completely different from what was required some 10 years ago. So what that means is even in our social sector, we're deliberate in terms of the skill set we expose these young people to. So we know the world is migrating to the robotics, to AI, to augmented reality, virtual reality, IoTs, and big data. So we understand all that. So what do? So we're now because we now know that the skills you need as a vehicle maintenance professional several years ago is not what you need today, because most of the vehicles come so they are no longer mechanical per se. So you need to be able to have access to your laptop, to your device to be able to repair them. So we're also training our young people to have those skills. And in the e-commerce space too, that's another area we have huge opportunities for our young people. So there are lots going on, and we're also preparing our young people to be ready to take advantage of the emerging future.
Finally, Your Excellency, naturally, tomorrow is always a day away.
Yeah.
But in a disruptive thinking, all thanks to you, you've said that tomorrow is here.
Yeah.
What exactly does this mean? And is this what's happening today and that would happen next year? Is it all in line with that promise you made that tomorrow is here?
So it speaks to two things. One is, recall when you could be, there was something known as student syndrome. So when you're giving assignments, you try to procrastinate and keep procrastinating. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And then you can then say to someone, tomorrow is here. So there's it's right here with you. So for us, it means there is no more room for procrastination. Okay. We must start today. Okay. And it also has another leg to it. What does that tomorrow we're talking about, what does it hold for you? So that's the question. So you want to wake up 4 years from now. What tomorrow do you want to wake up into 4 years from now? So we want to provoke our young people, want to rouse them up, to challenge them, to start imagining what that tomorrow. So we've taken time to unpack that tomorrow for them. And this is the tomorrow I had just explained to you. Tomorrow where our young people will be digitally skilled, where they would have all the skills required to deal with the emerging future, have the fintech skill, the financial technology skills, the cybersecurity skills, the e-commerce skills, and the IT services skills. So they can stay right here in Enugu and provide services across the globe. Today, you do not necessarily have to migrate from where you are to anywhere in order for you to earn hard currency. You can actually stay here. And that is the future we believe we have to prepare these young people for. And it is that tomorrow we say to them is right here with us.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Your Excellency. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.